purchase our diamonds.
Yeah, this
how
one's
we
already
buy
low, I think.
in bulk.
Yeah, but-
We pay cash for our diamonds so we can save every possible percent to save you money on your diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
There are no middlemen. There are no other wholesalers or dealers. So we cut out all of those extra added markups and pass those savings on to you.
When you combine that unmatched value with a totally no-pressure shopping experience, you know you're in the right place.
Because we do not work on commission, our sole purpose is to make sure you get exactly what you want. There's nothing in it for us personally.
All right, here we go. Stand by for billboard.
At Genesis,
Oh,
people often end
Central
up spending
Driving.
less than they had budgeted.
Our goal is to purely present you with
John Harrell, you
options
said?
so you can choose exactly what you want.
The value you want, the experience you deserve. Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road.
This is the High School Football Tonight Show. Brought to you by AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Penn Station East Coast Subs. Penn Station, it's all in good taste. Thomas More University. Accelerate your career with a business degree from Thomas More University. And by Kelsey Chevrolet on Route 50 and 275 in Lawrenceburg. Greater Cincinnati's fastest growing full service dealer and the Tri-State's #1 Chevy lease dealer, all because of your family believing in ours. From our family to yours. KelseyChev.com. This is High School Football Tonight.
Okay, that's us. Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com, here on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360. My name is Safwan Alvi. I will be your host, and I am joined, as always, by my friend, by my co-host, the dawn of high school football in the tri-state area. His name is Greg Shoemaker, and again, we are TriStateFootball.com, your go-to destination for all things high school football in Southwest Ohio, Eastern Indiana, and Northern Kentucky. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms on the venue formerly known as Twitter and Instagram at TS Football. Again, that's at TS Football. You can also like us on Facebook. Just type in the search bar TriStateFootball.com, and you can do the same thing on YouTube, TriStateFootball.com. We are joined by Elena Moore as well from Friday Football Live. We thank them and the entire team for everything that they have done for us this entire season. We are celebrating 20 years of TriStateFootball.com, covering the tri-state area for 2 decades now. And it is playoff football, Greg, all over the tri-state area. Right, second round in the Bluegrass State. We are in the third round in Southwest Ohio. And then over in Eastern Indiana, we're looking at regional finals. So we have so much to get to. We got final scores rolling all the way in. We're going to talk about some legends, Greg, that, you know, in some of the all around the tri-state area, we have a team that is still going. And we'll talk about a legend who has moved on as well. So we have so much to get to. But, Greg, let's get to that scoreboard, right? We got playoff scores all over the area. Quickly talking about the game we just heard right here on these airwaves. The St. Xavier Bombers were taking on the Lakota West Firebirds. And what a game it was. Almost a carbon copy of what we saw in week 1. But the results have changed, and it is the St. Xavier Bombers, the 6th-seeded Bombers, moving on to the regional finals, beating West by a score of 16-13. Greg, what are your takeaways in this game?
How about that? I mean, West's fifth trip to the regional finals has been thwarted tonight by St. X. And, boy, I got to tell you, what a great start. 16-0 at halftime by St. X. And that's all you need in a game like this. These guys were something else tonight. And hats off to that defense because they stopped Sam Wiles, who's a very good quarterback, and stopped him again and again. And what a great job. Hopefully we'll get Steve Specht here on a little bit later in this show. But, man, nicely done. St. X in the regional finals for the first time since 2020 when they won the whole thing.
Right, that was that COVID year, right?
Yes.
The crazy COVID year. And again, Greg, you mentioned there was a 16-0, blitz by St. X. They got that safety right in the back of the end zone, a big special teams play. Lakota West really gets hot in the second half, finding their big tight end, right, making good plays at the end. And then how about the job Jake Broadbeck does with that defense, right? That defense is just so good year in, year out, right? It's just, this is what you can count on, right, with St. X. You can just count on their defense being good. They stepped up when they needed to, right? It wasn't a perfect second half. They made some mistakes that I know Steve Specht's, really going to get on in film study. But good teams, well-coached teams, find ways to win, and they play well situationally.
Well, let's talk about their defense. I mean, we haven't really talked about it. They're on a 5-6 game winning streak now, and NFL everybody under 16 or less than 20 points for sure, maybe 17 or less at this point. But these guys are just really hitting it at the right time. And we haven't talked about Daniel Vollmer. What a great job he did tonight for them. A go-to guy. At this point in the year, you can go to him and know you're going to get some good stuff. But Bishop, Riley, Clapper in that secondary, fantastic job by those guys again, and Karan Seymour as well. Those guys they're really playing well right now. And their secondary is, I just love that group right there.
Yeah, Daniel Vollmer. At halftime, he had over 100 yards rushing, averaging over 5 yards a carry. Again, we're going to talk more about this game. And Greg, how about the other Division I, Region 4 game that we've been, paying attention to, and looks like the game is wrapping up right now. Yes, that actually has just went final. The Moeller Crusaders, the number 1 seeded Moeller Crusaders, they took on the 4th seeded Princeton Vikings, and yet again a Week 1 rematch. And Greg, the outcome was the same, 28-10. Moeller gets the win. A little bit of an ugly game from both sides, right? Moeller does get a 3-score victory, but Moeller fumbled the ball a couple times, right? Princeton continues to get killed by penalties, right?
Yeah.
Neither team played their best game. Moeller moves on. So we're going to see a Moeller X rematch, just rematches everywhere, right? In Division I, Moeller gets the job done. Not the prettiest, but they move on.
They do. And you know what? You're right. There was some sloppy play in the second half of this game. And I think Princeton's got to look at themselves and go, hey, look, we shot ourselves in the foot time and time again. The last 3 games before this game, they had 10-plus penalties and 100-plus penalty yards. You're giving up a football field a game,
Wow.
yet you've won 3 games this late in the season, and then you turn around and do it again tonight. That's tough to overcome. It's just, you just got to clean sloppy play up. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Would Ponatoski have 4 more touchdowns tonight?
Yeah, 28 for 39, 415 yards with 3 touchdowns for the junior gunslinger.
47 on the year. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. So Moeller will move on to take on the St. Xavier Bombers. The 2 biggest of blue bloods will play for the regional championship over there in Division I, Region 4. And Greg, quickly, I want to talk about the GCL South moving down to Division II, Region 8. A clean sweep. How about the GCL South going 3-0, right? We saw Moeller win. We saw St. X win. And then the LaSalle Lancers, they were taking on 6-seeded Harrison, right? I know you were talking to the Harrison head coach in the pregame
Eric
show,
Green,
right?
yeah.
Talking about the green juice that we had a laugh about.
Tried to.
Talking about the green juice, but LaSalle, right? The Lancers, they continue on the hot streak, playing the best football of the season. They win in shutout fashion, 37-0 over Harrison. Greg, there is not a team right now that feels better about themselves than the LaSalle Lancers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my goodness, just taking care of business ever since that win against Elder in the final week of the season.
Yeah.
They've just grown big time, leaps and bounds, and really finding themselves. Oh my gosh! And they're going to play Anderson next week, so this is going to be fun. I hope they play this game at Withrow. This is where they've been playing the Division II Region 8 final the last couple of years is at Withrow. Love to see LaSalle and Anderson at Withrow in this ball game next week. I hope that's where it is. I'm not sure. It might be at Princeton, but boy, oh boy, what a game. 2 really good defenses.
Absolutely.
But LaSalle trying to stop that Anderson offense. This is what we've lived for. I mean, this is what we want to see.
Absolutely. And that other game, Greg, that you were alluding to in Division II, Region 8, first seeded, right? So it will be a 1 versus 2 matchup. Anderson, right, dominating that game from Mount Healthy. I think we really like Mount Healthy. They were the 5th seed with just too much Anderson offense, defense. They did shut out the Owls tonight by a score of 42-0. Anderson's offense and defense. But a big shout out to Mount Healthy, right? Head coach Jordan Stevens has done a great job over there. They won 2 playoff games. We love Jameer Spain, the quarterback.
And Jamar Scott.
They got playmakers all over the field.
Ace
Anderson,
Cooper had a great year.
Absolutely. They had a great year. Just too much Anderson offense.
But here's the thing about that, Safwan, is the Anderson defense is always, we've talked about this all year. They needed to have a good secondary.
Yep.
And because they get up by so many points on so many teams that you're like, they're like, hey, teams are throwing the ball against us, but now they've got a secondary that's second to none. What they did tonight against this Mount Healthy offense, that's huge. I mean, Jayon Saunders, Kamari Ty, Ace Alston. I mean, these guys are fantastic in that secondary. This is a whole new look for Anderson. This is going to be a really cool game next week versus LaSalle. This is, like I said, it's everything you could ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't get better than that.
Nope.
1 seed versus 2 seed, both teams playing at their absolute peak of their powers. Again, we cannot wait to watch that. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We are just getting started. We got head coaches on the other side on the hotline. We're going to talk some Division 4, some Division 5. We got regional finals in Indiana, some big games happening in Kentucky as well in the Bluegrass State. So stick with us on the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Get ready, college basketball fans. The River
Man, that was a
Rivalry
quick-
returns.
we were just
Tuesday,
talking
November 19th
3
at
games
7
with like
p.m.
10 minutes.
It's the rematch we've all been waiting for. The NKU Norse welcome the UC.
So we're going for
Bearcats
Engler,
with
right?
Truist Arena.
Like Engler?
Yep, calling them now.
The action tickets start at just
This is-
$20.
I mean, what-
the
what
best deal
they
in
did
town
tonight
for a
is
night of
huge. I haven't
education
seen
basketball.
anything
Visit NKUNorth.com/tickets to lock in your seats. Grab your family, bring your friends.
I think I
It's a
did send
big
you
you'll
the
remember.
Indian Hill.
Yes, I
I'm
believe
Bill
so.
Weber, and I'm Adam Weber. Now is the time to save at AE Door and Window. We've got
The NKU game they were just talking about, I can go for free because I'm an NKU student.
For 2 years.
What happened?
Plus, take
I can just go to
5%
that
off
game
the
for
total
free
order
'cause I'm an
when you
NKU
combine
student.
savings on entry doors and
What game?
windows from
There's an
Purdue.
NKU UC game next week.
Oh, that's right. They're playing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
They're playing about it. That's really fun.
They just opened their basketball season like yesterday, I think.
Really?
Tonight they're playing Cedarville University.
6 straight wins by Ryan.
Yeah, since they-
That's
since their last
crazy.
loss, too. Their last
Louisville,
loss
St.
was-
Xavier.
yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll save on your
Yeah.
choice of any
How about
six
Ryle
round
getting the
games
job
to
done?
attend during the
So
2025 season. This is the perfect way to lock in your tickets for the biggest
Oh,
matchups,
and
additional
look at their streak.
bobblehead
They've-
dates, and
They
more.
got at least
while guaranteeing
36
an
points in all
LED
these
Cruise
games.
bobblehead.
They've only given up over
Purchase
20
your
points
tickets
once since that
now.
loss.
Visit Reds.com
So they're clicking on
to
both
tickets.
ends.
So many times guests come in with pictures from Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook and are amazed.
It's always
that
good
we
to-
have
to-
those
to,
rings in stock.
avenge a loss.
Vice
Man.
President at Genesis
Especially in the
Diamonds,
playoffs,
talking about
right?
how Genesis stays on the cutting
We
edge.
pride ourselves of staying ahead of the curve of fashion and seeking what's
Cooper
new and
wins
what's
45
I have
to
some
20.
issues with Engler. I'm still trying though.
and that in stock for you, where other stores are still chasing the styles that were cool maybe 5 or 10 years ago.
Why settle for an
Maybe
outdated
Liquor.
He answered and then it's like he couldn't hear me.
Oh,
Ah,
ring of
so
her
he-
dreams
he's ready to
with over
talk.
4,000 cutting-edge choice
I'm trying him again.
bridal designers in the world.
We have the designer looks that
Russell-
you see
Russell
everywhere
beat Lloyd
in stock
21
in a variety of metals,
Oh,
a variety
wow.
of sizes
That's,
and
I think
shapes,
that's
and a
what
variety
Tristan's
of budgets. So every customer
Russell,
can have
yeah.
exactly what they want.
Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes, where no compromise is ever necessary.
We are so honored and proud that so many people have made the switch to Genesis Diamonds and not only told their friends about Genesis, but have brought their friends to Genesis.
On Montgomery Road.
Hey, John, what's so glum? I just got
So after this break, we
the
go
company's
back.
downsizing.
Hmm.
This is the third time in
Right.
the last 2 years.
Because
I'm
they'll
done
all
with
be in their
this.
cars.
Have you thought about my computer career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity.
All right, stand by. I'll keep trying him.
You don't need prior training
Wanna
or
just keep doing,
experience.
scoreboard
Now that's
talk?
a recession-resistant
Yeah,
career.
let's run through the scoreboard.
Yes.
I'll check them out. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation.
We're going to run through the scoreboard at the top of the hour. We'll go with spec if we can't get England before then.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back in. High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com. Cincinnati's ESPN 1530, Fox Sports 1360. Stephon Uvey, Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com here, talking all things postseason action here in this 2024 season. Again, we had a great conversation about Division I, Region 4, and Division II, Region 8. Greg, I want to talk a little bit more about the small schools here in Ohio. There's a couple teams that we really like. What we noticed a lot, Greg, here in tonight as we get the scoreboard updated and, we look at that Underground Sports Shop scoreboard right at TriStateFootball.com. Be sure to go to TriStateFootball.com/scores for the Underground Sports Shop scoreboard. Going into Division 4, Region 16, right? Remember, all of our Division 3 teams have lost, so there are no more Division 3 teams. So we are jumping right into Division 4, Region 16. 9th-seeded Indian Hill taking on 5th-seeded Taft. Right, this was a game of athletes and superstars everywhere. Right, Devlin Daniel, Indian Hill, young man Pavey over there in Taft. The Taft Senators, they get the job done, doubling up the score of Indian Hill They win 30-14, Greg. Talk to me. I know you talked to head coach Tyler Williams on the pregame show. This Taft Senators team, it is a dangerous team, and yet again, they move on.
They're very good. And look, I mean, for Indian Hill to put 14 up on them, that's pretty good. So the funny part about Region 4 or Division 4, Region 16 is the top 4 seeds were all out of the tournament coming into tonight, in that pod. So you had 5, 6, I think 9 and 10 were the seeds that were left. And Alter was the number 10 seed, and they knocked off Taylor tonight. So now Alter was the state runner-up last year. They were the Region 16 winner.
Yep.
So now you've got Taft and Alter back at it. And early in the season, Alter lost their starting quarterback, and that was in week 2. And then they ended up having to play Taft in week 3 without a quarterback, and it really messed them up because their quarterback Connor. He was on their way to being the all-time leading passer in the school history, surpassing Connor Bazelak. If you guys don't know who Connor Bazelak is, he started at Missouri. He went to Indiana, and now he's the quarterback at BGSU, and it's like 7th year of NCAA football. But he was the Connor kid was getting ready to surpass all of Bazelak's numbers there. And then, like I said, week 3, Taft took it to Alter. So this is going to be a fun regional championship. Taft, this is their second appearance in the last 3 years in the regional championship game. And, I think their 10th straight playoff appearance for CMAC team to do what they've done has been fantastic. This is this is so awesome what Tyler Williams has done there. And to see the CMAC getting their love and their athletes to get the credit that they deserve. I'm so hoping that they get through this and break through and get that CMAC first ever regional championship for a CMAC team.
Wow. And again, as you mentioned, the other game in Division 4, Region 16, Greg, we talked about it, 10th-seeded Alter. They defeated 6th-seeded Taylor. And Greg, what is the difference right now with this Alter team? Because next week they're still not going to have that young man, right? He's out for the season. Yeah. He's out for the season. What has changed? Because they dominated last week. Wyoming, if I'm not mistaken, right? They dominated
at Wyoming
42-0. This just looks like a different team that we saw in the regular season, and they are just running through really good teams right now.
They found their identity on defense, and they are very, very good there. Now, you got Noah Jones, who's a running back, who's played some quarterback there, and they found another kid to play quarterback. And this Drew Cripps kid, if you haven't seen him play, he's a sophomore. He's a stud. I'm telling you, by the time we start next year, this kid Drew Cripps at Alter, we're going to be talking about him. I'm thinking he's going to be a Ohio State offer kind of kid. This kid is special.
And remember, Alter turns out those kind of young men, right? CJ Hicks a couple of years ago at Alter, he's at Ohio State right now, so he could kind of be
sort of that kind of athlete.
Yep. Absolutely. So again, it will be Taft versus Alter next week in the regional final in Division 4, Region 16. And again, the 10 seeded and the 5 seeded, right? Top 4 seeds were done by the 3rd round.
And look, Massey, Wyoming, and Valley View, all these great schools. And yet here's the blue blood Alter versus this young, up and coming public league team in Taft. So fun.
And again, they were blowouts, right? Yeah. Valley View, they were blown out, right? Alter blew out Wyoming. These are statement wins, Greg. Like even in this game, Taft, they doubled up Indian Hill. These teams not only are winning, they are making statements.
And it's Division 4. Like I said, it's Region 16. Yep. Every year, whoever comes out of here has got a really good shot at winning the state title. Absolutely, every season.
A lot of fun and a lot of craziness over there in Division 4, Region 16. And now we will go to a little bit of unfortunate news because we are going to go to Division 6, Region 24, where there were a couple of local teams left, but they could not get the job done. Greg, as we like to call it, the Cold Water Invitational,
yes,
right? St. Bernard, Elmwood Place, right? We talked to head coach Kyle Hogan. They had a great year, but you could the writing was on the wall in this game. Coldwater, first seeded, they did defeat St. Bernard, Elmwood Place 56-0. And then the other game in Division 6, Region 24, CCD, Cincinnati Country Day, they were taking on Anna. They were the 3rd seed. And unfortunately, Anna did take down CCD 56-14. So both opponents scored 56. CCD did get 14. Unfortunately, their seasons are done. Greg, talk to me about the CCD team, St. Bernard Elma Place, and we know Coldwater. They keep doing what they do.
I'm really proud of small school football here in Cincinnati. We haven't really had the type of teams that can compete with a Coldwater or an Anna out of that MAC and that league up there in Mercer County football is so different. But I will say this, hats off. These two teams got to the second round of the playoffs. They played each other in that league, that MVC Gray division. They were 1-2 all the way. St. Bernard gets 10 wins. They want to get here. I was hoping they'd put up some points on the board. They're just not deep. I mean, they're just not Coldwater deep or Marion local deep in Division 7 yet. But we are starting to get better in Division 6 and 7. And I think it's fun for us. I mean, we've always been good in Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 5, 6, and 7 has always been sort of, we're just not, our schools are bigger down here in Cincinnati area. And we don't have those smaller schools like they have in the communities that just love them, right? In Anna, Fort Recovery, and at Fort Loramie and Marion Local and places like that. But hats off. I mean, I think our small school football is really improving, and Kyle Hogan and Dennis Coyle over at CCD, awesome job, and Jeff Cargile at CCPA as well.
Yep.
Great jobs there.
Absolutely. That is what I wanted to get to very quickly before we take it to break, is that last small school game, right? This was Division 7, Region 28. And unfortunately, right, CCPA, they were the 3rd seed. They were taking on Minster. And unfortunately, they lost 42-0, Greg. Again, the scores, weren't great, but I don't think they were truly indicative, as you just, had that great talk about how awesome, small school football has been this year. And then same thing with CCPA. Coach Cargile did an excellent job this year.
And we're getting athletes. I mean, we're getting athletes down there. Damian Dawson at St. Bernard, D'Amico Harris. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We are up against it. Coming up, we got some Bluegrass State football to talk about, some Hoosier State football to talk about. We are just getting started on the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Well, WT Blitz 5 is putting
You want spec?
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's get
Live
started.
Nation,
Yeah.
how we doing tonight?
with Charlie, Olivia, and a whole Blitz 5 team.
We're everywhere tonight. It's going to be exciting for everybody.
Tailgates,
Any more
traditions,
Kentucky
touchdowns, and more. And it's all live only on Channel 5.
Where else would you rather be?
WLWT Blitz 5 with Charlie Clifford and Olivia Ray.
We've got a great
Islands
night
was
for high
winning
school
41 to
football.
17.
Tonight at 11.
The fighting spirit of the Marine Corps is born of battles won. Battles won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. It's who,
All right, spec's good to go.
it's what we do. It's a promise made to you for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines.
Fox
Stand by.
in Cincinnati. Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. Fox Sports 1360, an iHeartRadio station.
This is the High
6
School
wins in a row
Football
for X.
Tonight Show. Brought to you by AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Penn Station East Coast Subs. Penn Station, it's all in good taste. Thomas More University. Accelerate your career with a business degree from Thomas More University. And by Kelsey Chevrolet on Route 50 and 275 in Lawrenceburg. Greater Cincinnati's fastest growing full service dealer and the Tri-State's #1 Chevy lease dealer. All because of your family believing in ours. From our family to yours. KelseyChev.com. This is High School Football Tonight.
Okay, here we go. We are rolling on the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360. Safon Ulvey, Greg Shoemaker, the TriStateFootball.com team here. We are with you until 11 p.m. Eastern Time, talking all things postseason action in Southwest Ohio, Eastern Indiana, and Northern Kentucky. And we are excited to be joined by our first coach of the evening. We have the St. Xavier Bombers talking Division I, Region 4 football. St. Xavier, the head coach Steve Specht. They just defeated Lakota West 16-13 in the third round. And Coach, we love this time because we get to talk to you after a win in the postseason. Congratulations on another great win. We know you and head coach Tom Bolden, guys have played so many instant classics together. You come out on the top of this one. Talk to me about how you're feeling, and again, congratulations.
Steve, I mean, your defense has been fantastic. You guys have won 6 in a row, have not given up more than 19 points in one of those games. And even the game before that, your loss to Trinity before this win streak started, you only gave up 7 there. But the fact of the matter is these guys are playing so well on that side of the ball. And your secondary, I mean, with Bishop and Riley and Clapper, those guys are just so fun to watch. And talk about this side of the ball because they have been great the last 6 weeks. 7.
Yeah, and Coach, going to the other side of the ball, you guys have a young man who I like to call the weapon, right? His name's Daniel Vollmer, right? He can be a running back. He can be a quarterback, wide receiver. You put him anywhere. He just continues to make plays for you guys, right? He was averaging 5 yards per carry at the half and just continued, to make plays and make things happen. Talk to me about this young man and how important he is to this team.
Steve, we talked about this last time you were on the air with us about playing every Friday night and being on that Friday night schedule. Now you're 4 weeks into the playoffs. How good does this feel for you and as a coaching staff to have just such a schedule that's it's regimented like this? Mm.
Yeah, we're talking to head coach Steve Speck from the St. Xavier Bombers. They just played a thrilling game right here on these airwaves. They defeated Lakota West by a score of 16-13, moving on to the regional final. And Coach, when we win these playoff games, at the end of the day, that's why the schedule is the way it is, right? Out of conference, playing Centerville, right? They're a powerhouse. Cathedral, they're a powerhouse. Trinity, playing teams like that, going through the lumps, the ups and downs of the regular season, That's why you do it, right? Winning playoff games like this, playing quality teams. That's why the schedule is the way it is. Again, that is head coach Steve Speck from the St. Xavier Bombers. They will play the Moeller Crusaders in the regional championship next week. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We love talking to you when it's the playoff time, right, in general, but we love talking to you, during these playoff times. It's a lot of fun. We love watching you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon, all right? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Steve.
And, Greg, there it is.
There it is.
If there is, let's be honest, Greg.
And they play tight games all the time, man.
Yep. If there is one team, maybe in the entire tri-state area, Greg, when it comes to playoff time, if there's any team you do not want to count out during any circumstance, it's got to be Coach Speck and the Bombers.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, as long as we keep playing, we're surviving. That's it. And oh man, they got Moeller next week. And this game they played against Moeller in week 3. It was our Blitz 5 game of the week. 45-37 in that ball game.
Week 5. Week 5. Yep, I'm looking at that game, right? It was the September 20th.
Yeah.
Right. As we take a little bit of a preview to that Division 1 Region 4 regional final, right? They take on their GCL South foe, the Moeller Crusaders. What an awesome, postseason the GCL South has had. And Greg, that game was 45-37.
Moeller went out 28-7. Oh, yes. That was Ponatoski had 4 touchdowns in the first quarter of that game, and it was like, oh man, it was like Moeller on, and then X just whittled away and stayed in that game. Being down there in that corner of that end zone, we're like, what's going on? Ponatoski is having himself a day. But yeah, I mean, X hung around. This is going to be a fun one.
And Greg, I'm looking at these stats. That has to give St. X confidence, knowing Ponatoski was 18 for 25, 321, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they still only lost by 1 possession. Mm-hmm. Ponatoski played almost a perfect game, no interceptions, 6 touchdowns. And X can look at the game thinking, we still could have won that game, right?
If you don't make,
we still could have won.
A couple of early mistakes. I think there was a blocked punt early in that game, and a couple other things. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that could definitely knock Moeller out of the regional championship.
And X in that first game, they ran for 231 yards and averaged 6 yards per carry. So not only they are peaking at the right time, they are running the football.
Herbstreit took that opening, so the ball got to the 20-yard line after the kickoff into the end zone.
First play.
First play of the game, Herbstreit went 80 yards on that play. And that's really, for the most part, that's sort of the last time he's really ran the ball in that game, because he was up like, him and McLaughlin were like GCL South leaders in rushing, the 2 quarterbacks at that point. So he hasn't really run the ball a whole lot. But yeah, that first play of the game, he took off and went, and then Ponatoski threw 4 touchdown passes. It was like, what's going on? But yeah, this is going to be an excellent night of football next Friday night.
Yeah, again, rematches all over the place. And in that last game, Tyler Jocelyn, who we were just watching again, he had a good game, but he had a rough game, right? He fumbled the ball a couple times. He had 99 yards. He was averaging about 4.3 yards. And I know, right, at the end of the day, Moeller and X are conference foes. They love playing against each other. But if I'm Moeller right now, the last team they wanted to see in the regional final was the St. Xavier.
I think they were.
That was the last.
I think they were more comfortable. You're right. We wanting to see Lakota West in this game coming up, but a little sloppy play in the second half from Moeller. Yep. We don't see that a lot from them. As we were watching the game against Princeton here tonight, this is going to be. Yeah, I mean, X is playing so good right now.
Absolutely. And Greg, real quick before we take it to break, I wanted to recap a little of the season. Lakota West, right? Yeah. The last couple playoff games, they were rocky. They did lose over here in the 3rd round. Talk to me about what happens here, what moves forward. Couple sloppy games, still a great team. They were awesome defensively again all year. They looked better later in the season on offense, which is, what we wanted to see from them. Tough end of the year, but still an awesome year from Tom.
Well, for 2 years, Sam Wiles has done an excellent job of being their quarterback, and now they're going to turn the reins over to Jackson Smith, the freshman who started the first 2 games last year, and got beat pretty bad by Princeton. And St. X, and he sat behind Sam Wiles after this, and hats off to Sam Wiles and Bierman, some great players on those teams. Luka Gilbert, he didn't catch a lot of passes, but he was the best player on Lakota West's team. I mean, even better than Bierman. I know he's a tight end, and I think he's going to Miami U. I think he'll end up becoming a tackle at the next level, and I think he's going to be a good tackle because he's fast and he just blocks people. He gets in front of people so well. I know he didn't catch a lot of passes, but he was their number 1 rated player as a tight end this year, and a great job by Tom Bolden and this team. Markey, the linebacker, has been good. Cam Thomas will be back next year for him, and they'll play good defense. They'll play good defense year in year out. This is the team to beat now. This is the Colerain era is done. It's all about Lakota West and the GMC at this point.
Absolutely, and remember, Jackson Smith is going to be a junior now, right?
Yes,
so it's going to be
and he played a lot. He played a lot and learned a lot. As the backup this year, he had some plays where he had some good passes and some good runs for touchdowns as a backup this year. I think it's really going to help him next year. I think we're going to see something special out of that offense, and Tom will open it up for sure.
Yeah, we agree that Lakota West, they are not going anywhere in terms of contention. We will see them right back, likely in a similar position again next year. All right, we are up against it. Going to take a quick break. Coming up after this, Greg, we got some Hoosier State football and some Bluegrass State football to talk about. We got final scores rolling in, and hopefully some head coaches on the hotline as well. So stick with us on the High School Football Tonight show, powered by TriStateFootball.com, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Craving Penn Station East Coast subs? Skip the line and order.
Who's next?
Triangler again? Or
Triangler. If we can't get Engler,
I haven't gotten it.
You're exhausted him.
Flicker, maybe?
With onions?
Would it be weird if I
else do we
ordered
have on
something for
Lakers?
Gold Star other than chili?
Get
That'd be so
Bathiani.
weird.
No, get Bathiani from
Muller.
Get Muller Bathiani.
Got it.
Look at me, I'm a Gold
Hey,
Star
if we
eating a
get
bacon
him,
cheeseburger.
can this be a little longer
It's
interview because
juicy
then we
and
can kind of throw in
delicious.
Jerry Faust in
So
there
weird,
too?
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, we'd like a bacon cheeseburger,
Garlic parm fries.
garlic parm fries.
Follow your own recipe to Gold Star. Burgers available at grill locations only.
The fighting spirit of the Marine Corps is born of battles won. Battles
I'm
won
going to come out with some breeds.
within,
Some breeds in.
over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's a promise made to you for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines.
Let's trade keys today at Kelsey Chevrolet. 0% APR is back. Rebates up to $7,500 and a Kelsey exclusive
X might come up with an X.
$1,500 trade assistance.
X might be the one. It might be the one.
Kelsey Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. KelseyChev.com.
Get ready, college basketball fans. The River Rivalry returns Tuesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. It's the rematch we've all been waiting for. The NKU Norse welcome the UC Bearcats to Truist Arena. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Tickets start at just $20. That's the best deal in town for a night of edge-of-your-seat basketball. Visit nkunorse.com/tickets to lock in your seats. Grab your family, bring your friends. It's a game you'll remember.
Hey, John, why so glum?
Highlands gave up 30 points.
This is the
let me see
third
if
time
Indiana.
in the last 2 years.
Decatur Central
Have you
beat
thought about my
East Central
computer career? I heard they can train you
21-16.
for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession resistant.
All right, I got Bathian.
Perfect.
So let's throw in Jerry Faust. This might be a little long because we're going to throw in Jerry Faust.
Yeah,
and
that's
we'll
fine.
talk about
Go, just take it however long you want. We can adjust on the fly from there.
it. Sounds good.
Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect
I'll
for you.
introduce him. We'll talk Muller, but then we can throw Jerry Faust in.
Unlimited double miles on everything.
I'll take it.
And turn
Okay.
everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of
Stand by.
your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Little throwback action right here
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
come in. All right, welcome back. High School Football Tonight Show. ESPN 1530, Fox Sports 1360. Safwan Ugly, Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com. High School Football Tonight is brought to you in part by AE Door and Window Company. They sell the best and service the rest. Thomas More University. Accelerate your career with a business degree from Thomas More University. And finally, Penn Station East Coast Subs. Penn Station, it's all in good taste. All right, Greg, as we move right along here, we are with you until 11 p.m., talking all things playoffs in Southwest Ohio, Eastern Indiana, and Northern Kentucky. And we are excited now to stay talking about Division I Region 4 in the other half of the GCL South. And Greg, we're excited to have a discussion. A lot of emotions here, Greg, a lot of positive emotions, a lot of, just hearts are heavy, but in a good way. We got head coach Bert Bethiani here from the Moeller Crusaders. They beat Princeton tonight by a score of 28-10 as they move on to the regional final for the 4th consecutive year. And Coach, first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to have a great conversation with you. Again, congratulations on a big win.
Hey, Bert, it's hard to beat a team 2 times in a row, and this Princeton team was playing as well as they've played all year. Obviously 13 weeks in between or 12 weeks in between matchups for you. But when you looked at preparing for this game, how did you go about doing that, knowing that this team was sort of completely different than what you saw the first week?
Yeah, Coach, you're talking about your playoff record. It was a GMC fest for you guys, right? You guys played Sycamore week 1 and then Lakota East last week and then Princeton. Talk to me about playing the GMC conference and what are your overall thoughts now that you're done with them?
Yeah. Coach, it's heavy hearts over there at Moeller this week with the passing of Jerry Faust. And I know you've only been over there a couple of years, but I'm sure this week was pretty special. Take us from somebody who hasn't been there that long at the school. Take us through your emotions of this week and your thoughts on Coach Faust and Fuzzy and what he did over there at the school and what you take from it.
Yeah, Coach. And again, just talking about Jerry Faust a little bit more. Was the kind of feeling different around the locker room? I know obviously it was such a long time ago that he was a coach, but right, the aura, right, the history, it lingers, right? When you walk through those walls at Moeller, his name and all the state championship trophies he won, are there. How did the football team react, right? How were the emotions, going into this game and just all around?
We're talking with Bert Bathiani, the head coach of the Moeller Crusaders. They win tonight 28-10 over the Princeton Vikings. And coach, you're back in the regional finals for a fourth straight year. And this will be Matt Palanatowski's third year in the regional as a starter, third year as a regional starter in the finals. And, last year I watched him up in the state semifinals, had that amazing drive against Springfield in the fourth quarter of that game. And it just to watch him as a player and evolve as a leader, it's got to be really cool as a head coach to know you're going into this game with a guy like that at quarterback. Yeah. Mm.
That is head coach Bart Bathiani from the Moeller Crusaders as they win their third round matchup against Princeton 28-10. They move on to the regional final against their GCL South foe, the St. Xavier Bombers next week. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We know it's been such an emotional week, right? A happy emotional week, right? Celebration, as you mentioned. Again, congratulations on a big win. Congratulations to the coaching staff, the players. We appreciate you talking to you so much, right? We love playoff time, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon, all right?
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Coach.
Bert. Thanks for the candid interviews. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Coach. And Greg. Thanks, Coach. And Greg, this is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Division I, Region 4, St. Xavier, Moeller, GCL South, the bluest of blue bloods, state titles everywhere. Right, this is what it's all about, Greg. And just real quick to finish up on the Jerry Faust, talk. Right, he had a 906 winning percentage. Right, from 19. Like, just think about that: 9 state championships, 4 national championships. Right, he was the best team of the country 4 separate times. Right, when talking about the GOATs, he's there.
Oh yeah,
and he is in that category alone.
Absolutely.
When you win 9 state championships, he stands alone in the the greatest of all time. And again, great to talk to head coach Bart Bathiani, right? Tie in the Moeller ties. But Greg, you've been covering, this for 2 decades. Talk to me about, the passion and the heart of head coach Jerry Faust.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the great thing about Jerry is how many people he touched.
Yep.
I mean, we were talking. Bert talked about it. Coach Clowney, who was after Jerry, who had some great teams there and great players that went on after Clowney, and coaches that have coached under Clowney, who that tree, that coaching tree that's come down from Jerry Faust has been amazing as well. So let's not forget that. Just an amazing man. I like, again, he knew everybody by first name, and just really cool. And I'm hoping to get my high school head coach or Jim Dimitrov over at Springfield Catholic on to talk about Jerry in the pregame show next week, because what Jerry did for our high school up at Springfield Catholic Central and the Ponchos back in the day, back in the 80s, once he got to Notre Dame, it was something special for my high school. I mean, touch a little school like ours, his reach was infinite.
Yeah, and Greg, when that's the big thing, right? The reach that he had.
Yeah.
Right? He made a difference in so many people's lives. And in terms of just football, right? It's way bigger than football, we know that.
Yes.
But just the respect that Southwest Ohio and Tri-State football got with Jerry Faust, winning 4 national titles, winning 9 state championships. He was such a good human, but he basically almost, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but was a big nucleus in creating respect and, attention for Southwest Ohio nationwide.
Absolutely.
With all the winning that he did.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. And again, I mean, his reach was far beyond the football field.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, so rest easy. Head coach Jerry Faust, one of the greatest and maybe the greatest of all time. And he's going to be looking down happy as the Moeller Crusaders are moving on to the regional final. What an awesome, Greg, that's storybook right there.
Put the GF on the back of the helmet, man.
Absolutely.
It's like the lucky Irish Shamrock and the Notre Dame puts it back there too. You might as well put it on the rest of the year, because faith is with them, I think, at this point.
Rest easy, head coach Jerry Faust. All right, Greg, we still got half hour, right? We still got some Hoosier State football to talk about, some Bluegrass State football to talk about, right? We have some historic, right? You were talking about a certain win in Kentucky being historic, and we are going to talk about that right after this break on the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
More at Thomas More University. Our Saints Essential program is designed with you in mind. Enjoy all access dining plans.
We had the Faust talk.
Jerry only won 5 championships there. Lonnie won 2 and Rodenberg won 2. They have 9 total.
Oh, 9 total.
Yeah. Steele just texted me.
And the local favorite for sports teams, fans, and businesses who are looking for quality products at prices they can afford.
Mark Schlabach.
Fan apparel and promotional items. We take pride in providing. You want anyone else here, or do you guys want to kind of riff this segment?
Who else we have that's still around?
Underground Sports.
If Engler's not there, Stephen Licker.
At 513-751-1662.
Do we find out the Batesville
That's the Underground Sports Shop, showcasing pride on and off the field.
WLWT Blitz 5 is putting the fun back in football.
Okay.
Blitz 5 Nation, how we doing tonight?
Batesville.
With Charlie, Olivia,
Did they win?
Batesville 41-34 winners over Tri-West. Let's try to get Evan Ellery.
You said 41-31?
41-34.
34.
Oh my goodness.
30.
Second regional title.
You said you wanted to come.
With Charlie Clifford and Olivia Ray. We've got a great night for high school.
You got a Milan school?
Tonight at 11.
Milan lost.
Blessed knows,
Yeah,
finding your new home is
Providence
a
is
dream
really,
come
really good.
true. You wanted to walk up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQL.
ZQL, the world's #1 sleeping brand.
Second regional title in school history, first since 1986.
Wow. So we said he won 5 state championships?
I'm
Yeah.
awake.
Okay. They won 9
won
total.
2, and Rodenberg won 2. They've won 9 total.
They won 9 total.
Explore our products at ZQL.com.
I'm Bill Weber. And I'm Adam Weber. Now is the time to save at AE Door and Window. We've got fall specials and Thanksgiving deal.
Not having luck with
jewelry so far. % interest. for
Nobody's
2
picking
years.
up.
Plus, take 5% off your total order when you combine and save on entry doors and windows from Pavia and Pella, Summer Space Awnings, and Clopay Garage Doors. Get up to $125 off your new LiftMaster opener.
Check out our fall savings at aeDoorSales.com.
You need reliable appliances to help you conquer your day. Menards offers a variety
I'm not even getting a voicemail.
to take home today.
Corn.
Criterion has refrigerators, freezers, and dishwashers built to help you make your life simpler. No matter how busy your appliances are ready when you are. Save big money on all Criterion appliances. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on
No luck on anybody, he
menards.com
said.
for all the
Oh, yeah, that's
great
right. You heard it
deals
before you
happening now.
Scoreboard top. Scoreboard top. We'll go to NKY and we'll go to. Ah, the nostalgia of that song, Greg. The
Man.
nostalgia, right?
too
ESPN
old
NFL
for that
2K5.
stuff.
Right? If you remember that game, you are what we know as the younger generation called a GOAT, right? You are a king. All right, welcome back again. High School Football Tonight Show, TriStateFootball.com, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530, Fox Sports 1360. A big shout out and thank you goes to our sponsors here at TriStateFootball.com. None of this would be possible without them. They are proud supporters of high school football. Some of our partners are Gold Star Chili, Follow Your Own Recipe, Mellow Window and Carpet Cleaning, the best in residential cleaning services, the Underground Sports Shop, showcasing pride on and off the field, and finally, the U.S. Marines. The few, the proud, the Marines. And again, quick note on that, Moeller on the segment last time, they won 9 total state championships, and Jerry Faust won 5 of them, right? He was a 5-time state champion, and they won 9 total state champions. All right, Greg, we are moving on. Let's talk some Bluegrass State football, because as I alluded to, the little glass breaker that I talked about, a historic win over here in the Bluegrass State. Greg, according to you, this was Class 6A Region 2, right? Ryle versus Louisville St. Xavier, right? This game was at Ryle, right? This was a home game for Ryle, and they get the job done, winning 38-17. Ryle moves on, Greg. And why do you think this is a historic win for Ryle?
Well, I mean, the whole thing from Northern Kentucky football history in Class 6A is we haven't been able to get past Trinity or Louisville St. X. And earlier this season, Ryle played at St. X and lost by 7. And this time tonight, they turned around and put a hurting on Louisville St. X. We haven't been able to get past these two teams to get to a state title. We don't have a big school state title out of Northern Kentucky. And Ryle looks right now like they're in a great position to get that accomplished. Amazing job by the Ryle Raiders tonight. And we've been trying to track down Mike Engler from Ryle, and he's just been kind of elusive tonight. So hopefully between now and the time we go off the air, we'll catch him, because this is something special. This just doesn't happen in Northern Kentucky at all, and this is huge.
Yeah, so Greg, this is a big step. They're thinking state championship now, right? You beat a team like Louisville St. Xavier the way that they did. Right now, Ryle has their eyes set, right? Maybe going to Kroger Field and playing for the state championship game.
And look, they got some players, man. I mean, Dylan Smith, who's headed to Louisville, their defensive end. Jacob Savage, their junior linebacker / running back, who never comes off the field for them. Just a beast. And Virax, the quarterback, is starting to come into his own. They got a couple of the two offensive linemen, Reynolds and the other kid. They have the same first name, and I can't remember the other ones. God love you guys, but yeah, I mean they're deep. They're loaded. And let's not forget about Landon Lawrence, their wide receiver, who had a huge season last year. He's not had quite the year, but he's still a huge threat for them when they go vertically down the field. This team is got some pretty good pieces, and I'm excited to see what the next couple of weeks have.
And remember, Ryle has avenged the loss. Remember, the last loss they had was to Louisville St. Xavier earlier in the year. Again, big win. Ryle moving on in the Class 6A Region 2 bracket. Big win for the Raiders. All right, Greg, let's stay in the Bluegrass State. Let's jump to Class 5A Region 3, right? We got some heavy hitters in this Class 5A Region 3. We got Highlands. They were taking on Woodford County tonight. Last time we saw, Highlands was winning that game 41-30. So I'm going to assume that game is final and assume that Highlands won. And Greg, this game, Highlands giving up 30 points, very unlike their defense, but Woodford County is a really good team. but it looks like Highlands is moving on to the next.
Picked it ended up 55-38 tonight.
Oh, wow.
With Highlands winning that game.
Barn burner.
Yeah. So look, their last loss was to Cooper 6 weeks ago. So they've won 6 in a row now. 49, 55, 42, 63, 50, 45, and 55 points. Just putting up some points on the board. This offense is really going well, and Rio Littmer, the quarterback, doing his thing as well. So, we could be here. I mean, we're not far away from another Cooper Highlands showdown here in the playoffs. It's close. If it's not going to be next week, I don't know how the reshuffle goes, but if it's not next week, it'll be the week after, maybe. I mean, how fun. I actually hope that it all flips out that, maybe Highlands and Cooper could play each other in the state championship game instead of having to play them before that, because I honestly think these are the two best teams in Class 5A, Highlands and Cooper.
Absolutely. Cooper with a 45-20 win over Scott County. Both of those teams advance to the next round, and again, that showdown is awaiting. All right, Greg, let's jump to Class 4A, right? Staying in Region 3, but Class 4A, the Covington Catholic Colonels, they were taking on Johnson Central tonight. And an unlike game for Covington Catholic, right? A lot of times when we look at scores like this, they're putting up 35 and 45 and 48 points. This was a defensive-minded game, Greg, a 1-point victory. Covington Catholic wins this game 14-13. A little unlike Covington Catholic, as I mentioned, but at the end of the day, Greg, it's all about winning, and they got the job done.
128 yards of total offense tonight from Covcat. That is it. So, I mean, they were on the struggle bus, but they got it done. Dylan Geiser got an interception tonight on defense, and the defense did well. And, I mean, sometimes you got a game like that. You got to grind it out. Hats off to Johnson Central. We always know they're pretty tough. Ashland Blazer, Johnson Central, those two teams are always – they just hang around year in and year out. And hats off to Covcat for getting that accomplished tonight. Johnson Central finishes at 8-3.
Yeah, absolutely. Covington Catholic moving on, a defensive battle there. All right, let's jump to Class 3A, Region 3, Greg. Russell was taking on Lloyd, and yet again, just like the Covcat game, a 1-point victory. Russell beats Lloyd in this game. So a couple of really close games in Northern Kentucky. This Russell team with a big 1-point win.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to see Lloyd lose. I really like this Lloyd team. I like those kids. They've been around for a while, and man, it's just that's a rough one to lose right there. Russell's sitting at 8-3 now, and so I guess that's what Lloyd ended up as well. But man, what a great run! Petey Sebastian, Coach Niederman, he doesn't have a he's got a lot to hang his hat on, and the program's going well. New stadium last year. It's all good over at Lloyd. They're going to be fun to watch for the next few years. They're building a great program out there.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Lloyd on a great season. All right, Greg, going to Class 2A, Region 3, and not a lot of surprises on this one, right? The Beechwood Tigers were in action. They were taking on Breathitt County. They won that game by a score of 56-28. Beechwood dominates that game, and Greg, nothing new there. Beechwood moving on and taking care of business as usual.
I mean, look at this team. They score points in droves. They're just ridiculously good on the points from the scoreboard. 56 tonight, 66 last week. The week before, 61. 2 weeks before that, 69. 61 the week before that. This team is just putting up points like there's no tomorrow. They're over 500 points scored on the year. That's always a huge thing, and I think they're the best. Now, Owensburg Catholic, that's going to be a fun game if that's what it gets to. And of course, Mayfield. Mayfield's always great, and they're always in the way somewhere at this point of the season for Beechwood. We'll see what that minutes ends up looking like.
Absolutely. And then, Greg, the final class, let's look at Class 1A, Region 2. We had a couple of NKY teams victorious in this side of the bracket. How about Newcath, right? They were taking on Bishop Brossard. So that was a local matchup, right? NKY versus NKY. Newcath dominates that game, winning 41-14. And then Newport, right? They were taking on Ludlow, with Newport winning that game 23-7. Right, so Newcath winning, Newport winning, a very good Class 1 Region 2 for both of those teams.
Really 4 good games, or 2 good games between 4 very good Northern Kentucky schools, small schools there that did some really good stuff. And, I think this is a rematch. These two teams matched up not too long ago, and Newcath won it 35-7. So we'll see what Newport can do. But we had Coach Wiggins on a couple weeks ago, and they're pretty good football team right now, and they're putting some points on the board. They're playing some really good defense. Since that loss to Newport's they've had 3 shutouts and only given up 19 points in 5 games and a 5-game winning streak. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a fun one. Coach, I love Coach Wiggins over there. He's doing a great job, and Coach Lickert does an awesome job as well over there at Newcastle. So this will be a fun one for sure.
Absolutely, a lot of fun, Greg. That was an awesome, excellent NKY conversation. And real quick, before we take it to break, just overall thoughts, right? Class 4A, 5A, what are you looking for in this third round, right? A lot of our big teams won some close games, right, all around the board. Just overall thoughts on NKY.
Well, I tell you, I certainly like where our shots are going for state championships right now on that side of the state. I mean, you know, Riles in a good spot right now. Cooper, Highlands, the winner, whoever comes out of that 5A there. And Newcastle just keeps on trucking in 1A. And Beechwood, what do we know? Like we just talked, though. I mean, they still have Mayfield ahead or Owensboro Catholic. So, but again, you know, Beechwood's been there, done that, and they can put points on the scoreboard. You got to keep up with Beechwood on the scoreboard. That's the hard part about anybody that plays Beechwood for sure.
Absolutely. The fun is just getting started over there in the Bluegrass State in the playoffs. All right, we are going to take our last break. Greg and I will be right back here to wrap it all up. Again, right after this, we'll preview some of the big matchups happening over there in Southwest Ohio, and we have a little bit of Eastern Indiana football to talk about as well. Some big wins, a yet again historic win for one of our Eastern Indiana teams. So we will be right back to wrap it up on the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Mela Services has been your one-stop shop for window.
Try to get Ellery again.
For 15 years. We've built a reputation for excellence with thorough, responsive, and dependable service. Mela's proud of our.
Drew, try to get Ellery again.
Yep, checking.
Did you get a Milan Final Four?
Huh?
Did you get a Milan Final Four?
Trying them.
So
no, I did not get a Milan.
I didn't see Milan.
Cleaning experts to work for you. Check us out at melaservices.com/football.
And try Engler one last time.
For over
too.
20 years, the Underground Sports Shop has been the local favorite
I'm
for
alive.
sports teams, fans, and
No, you're good. I turned the mics off.
It's a shit show.
Wes texted me saying, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that one of your mics is live," and I'm like, "Great! I don't know which one it is, so I'm just going to turn everything off."
Online at theundergroundsportsshop.com or call us.
And if you still text me saying that you can still hear me, then I don't know what's wrong because everything's off.
41-37 is what I'm saying was the final score.
Of what?
Of the Batesville Tri-West game.
Yeah, they won.
41-30. Yeah, Batesville won.
For over 15 years. We've built a reputation for excellence with thorough, responsive, and dependable service. Mela's
No dice on Ulrich trying Engler again.
because it means we've delivered excellent service to our customers over and over again. So let us put our award-winning team of cleaning experts to work.
Last
for
score in
you.
that Cubcats
Check us out
game
at
was in the third quarter.
melaservices.com/football.
Oh, somebody's updating it.
I just did.
Oh, Providence beat
I
Milan.
got
Mhm.
any voicemail again.
Thanks, man. We'll just run it out at this point.
All right.
Hey, Drew, if you can give me like the music
Yeah.
to give me like
Yeah,
45
I'll give you.
seconds.
Yeah, I'll give you 30-second warning.
Yep.
Will be when you hear the music.
That's fine.
We ended up getting 2 interviews. That's it. Out of the whole thing.
I'm
They were
surprised.
cool ones.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Man, Bathiani was
That was a
good.
big one because
That
we got
was
to talk
huge.
about fouls too. Like that was important. That was an important one. And then we got some of the big guys. We got to talk Spec and Bathiani. So we got the big dogs, right? We got the big boys.
Too bad we couldn't get Engler.
Yeah, it would have been good to have. And the game ended early too. They were done before the X game. So
Yeah, I was shocked.
Each Pick Six plan comes with an exclusive oversized Deli De La Cruz bobblehead. Plus, you'll save on your choice of any 6 Reds home games to attend during the 2025 season. This is the perfect way to
You got 10 minutes. You said you wanted to come, so.
Hey, just send me those interviews.
Yep.
Thanks.
I'll email them to you during the segment.
Awesome.
Now, visit reds.com/tickets.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a holiday. This is
Right.
good, man.
Seconded.
What do you say?
Seconded.
Second.
Yeah.
Oh, boys. You're more welcome to come to the house, dude. I just live up the street if you want one.
although I don't drink alcohol, I third it.
There you go. It's the thought that counts.
100%.
Fourth it.
Yes.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some.
Yeah, we'll do Indiana and then we'll
What?
the big games.
Meet up out of here.
Hold your horses, DOGG. Let's remind people one more
He's mine.
DOGG.
What? Yeah, I do. They fit me better. Okay, well, they're mine.
I really don't have any finals from
Well, they fit. Okay, well, I need
Yeah,
my
bunch
leggings
of finals
for
for
work.
no box.
GCL.
Can we play to do laundry tomorrow morning?
All going to be playing in regional
We're
finals.
probably going to plan on doing laundry in the morning.
I mean, and one of them's going to move on because they told us. So then hopefully they'll stop.
Hey, then you need to on the leggings.
I just sent those to you, Greg.
Thanks, man.
Incredible fashion and seeking what's new, what's hot all over the world, what's hot all over the internet, and having
I know.
it in stock for you. Where other stores are still chasing styles that were
Yeah,
created
I'm well
5 or 10
aware
years ago.
that you're just wearing my closet right now.
Stale design. Make the switch to Genesis and get the ring of her dreams with over 4,000 cutting-edge choices from the top.
I have you gonna do a big
designers
part.
in the world. We have the designer
Gonna press
look
this
that you
button
see
and this
everywhere
button in a few
in
seconds.
a variety of metals, a variety of sizes and shapes, and a variety of budgets. So every
Well, when you hear the music, it'll be 41 seconds.
It'll be
I'm just
this
doing
one
that so it lines up,
and
so
this
it
one.
ends
Or
when
oh,
the next thing's supposed to hit.
Roger that.
So many people have made the switch to Genesis
This
Diamonds
one.
and not only told their friends about Genesis, but have brought their friends to Genesis.
on Montgomery Road.
Save big money and outfit your home with beautiful Mastercraft doors at Menards.
You're like, what a mess this guy. You're like, what a mess this guy.
50 years. Choose from our great
Oh.
in-stock selection.
Stop watching
Design your door your way with our free
Standby.
program.
Oh,
Online or in store.
God, man, it's still going to Indiana.
I said it's
Plug
true.
WLWT.
For most great deals.
Yeah.
True. Press my finger. Do this. You do it then.
All right, that is us. Welcome back in. Right, Greg, roger that. All I got to say is roger that. Welcome back in. High School Football Tonight Show, TriStateFootball.com, Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360. Greg Shoemaker and Safon Ovi ready to put a ribbon around this post-game show. We do want to give a shout out and let everyone know that tonight, WLWT Blitz 5 is live at 11. So right after this, tune into WLWT Channel 5. Charlie Clifford, Olivia Ray with all the scores and highlights from across the area. Again, that's WLWT Channel 5 live at 11. All right, Greg, I want to talk a little bit some Hoosier State football, right? We had some big wins, some unfortunate losses, but we got a lot to break down. East Central, they have lost tonight, something they have not done in the playoffs for years now,
It
right?
seems like
Back-to-back state champions, but they will not be able to do it again this year. They lost 16-21, a very good game against Decatur Central. Greg, real quick, talking about this East Central team. It was a great game, but they did lose tonight, ending their season.
Well, I mean, look, this team lost a lot. I mean, they were decimated by senior graduation and did a really good job. Jake's done a good job with his team. They were young. They won a sectional title. They lost to the state runner-up last year in Class 5A in this game in the regionals. They're there. They're there again. They lost their starting offensive tackle before the season started. The kid was a star to be after being a freshman starter for 15 games last year. I want to say his name was Brown. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean they were good this year. They were good, but Batesville, how about them?
Yes, how about Batesville, IHSAA Class 3A. Batesville, they were taking on Tri-West tonight, and Greg, this was a true barn burner of a game. Batesville ends up victorious against Tri-West, 41-37. What a crazy game that was. Greg, talk to me about the Bulldogs as they move on to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, their second regional title in school history, and this was a senior class that's been very, very good. They had a really good year last year, had some stumbles and some injuries middle of this season, and have come back from that to be where I think a lot of people thought they would be at this point of this year. I don't think when the season started, I don't think a lot of people were surprised by this. First regional championship since 1986. Only one, the only other one in school history. 1986, almost 40 years, man.
That's incredible.
Pretty cool.
Absolutely incredible. And Greg, like to your point, I agree. Remember, they won 8 games last year. They had a nice playoff run, And we talked about it at this same time last year. We're like, next year, look out for Batesville, right? This team is not going
Senior
anywhere.
laden team.
And they have done what what we predicted that many thought. They're moving on. They got the state championship on their minds.
How fun would this be to see them play in at Lucas Oil in a couple of weeks, because they're not far away. But we've seen Lawrenceburg. You've seen Lawrenceburg. You've seen East Central play in Lucas Oil. It'd be sure fun to see a third EIAC team
Complete
get
the
there
trifecta.
right in the last decade, if it is less than that, actually.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Batesville.
Yeah, way to go, Coach Ellery.
Awesome win. Big shout out to Batesville. And Greg, that last Indiana game was Class 1A, right? Milan was taking on Providence. An unfortunate end to Milan season tonight, 28-10, Providence over Milan. But Greg, this Milan team had a really good season, right? Winning multiple playoff games. A lot of credit goes to Milan, and they had a great year.
Ryan Langferman did. He had a great season with his team. And, last week to beat North Decatur, who had beat them 5 straight years in the tournament before that, and to knock them off, that's a huge win for them. And look, they're a small school team. They play bigger teams all the time because they're just sitting out there on an island. So they're playing Batesville. They're playing Lawrenceburg. And it might be, and we might not be too far off from seeing Milan join the EIAC, even though they'll be the smallest team. But they're playing so many of those teams in all the other sports. I wouldn't see it's not too far off from happening in the future, I think.
Excuse me. Absolutely. And Greg, takeaways from Eastern Indiana, East Central. After those 2 state championships, they go to Class 5A and they show that they belong, right?
Yes.
Sectional title.
Yeah.
You play the state runner-up 21-16, so we know East Central, they are not going anywhere, right? Batesville, a big win against Tri-West, right? First one since 1986, and Milan with a good year, right? Overall, I would say a pretty successful night. May not be on the scoreboard, but East Central, we know they're here to stay. Milan with a good year, Batesville moving on. Some really positive things in Eastern
And
Indiana.
Lawrenceburg will be great again
Yep.
next year. Franklin County, we saw them take another level. I know we only cover 11 teams in that side of the state, but boy, I mean, we've been blessed to see some really good football from these mid-sized schools for sure.
Absolutely. Really quality stuff in Eastern Indiana. All right, Greg, before we get out of here, let's talk about some of the big matchups in Southwest Ohio, right? Division I, Region 4. We got to talk to both winning coaches tonight. Head coach Steve Speck from St. X, Bert Bethiani from Moeller. We got to have a Jerry Faust conversation as well, right? Lakota West, they go down to St. Xavier tonight, 16-13. And then Moeller, they defeat Princeton by a score of 28-10. Greg, it is a rematch of the crazy, intense game that we saw in the GCL South. Real quick thoughts on that, because the 2 best of the best, the bluest of blue bloods.
Yeah, look, I mean, X is hot right now, and they're playing as well as anybody, but Moeller's got the angel on their shoulder with the Jerry Faust thing going on. And Moeller, they won it last year. They won it for 3 straight years, and they know that. I mean, these guys that have been playing there at Moeller, they know how to just get through games, and they played a lot of them. But the thing is, keep in mind, I think they're now 12-0 against GMC teams over the last 3 years in the tournament. They're not playing a lot of GCL South teams or ECC teams in this tournament. So now they're going to play against a whole different level of the cat now when they play St. X here. So, but again, I'm not putting anything past Matt Ponatoski, the quarterback. He's something special.
Absolutely. He is the ultimate, right, X factor. All right, Greg, how about Division II, Region 8? LaSalle dominates Harrison tonight, 37-0. Anderson dominates Mont Healthy tonight, 42-0. We get the 1 seed. We get the 2 seed. Regional final. This is what it's all about.
Really is. I mean, again, one great defense versus one great offense. And here we go. We're going to find out what Anderson's really all about. I mean, we've been talking about it, but to shut out Mount Healthy 42-0 tonight with all their athletes on offense, I think that's a statement game for sure. I mean, you got a running clock on the number 5 team in the 3rd round of the playoffs. Pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And then, Greg, Division 4, Region 16, the craziest division that we've had yet in this playoffs. We had 5th-seeded Taft, they beat Indian Hill, and then 10th-seeded Alter, they beat Taylor. Alter with a running clock. We get Taft, we get Alter. Greg, and very simply, we get athletes, right? We get athletes in the regional final. This is going to be an exciting game.
It is. I mean, Alter won the regional championship last year, ended up state runner-up in Class 4A. This is Taft's 2nd appearance in the regional finals in the last 3 years. This is their chance to win this and make a statement for the CMAC schools. 10 straight playoff appearances. Well, this is it. This is it. They haven't done this yet. I think this Taft team has got everything it takes to get to the state finals. I really do.
Absolutely. Again, you can check out all the scores. Again, tristatefootball.com/scores. And Greg, you and I will be right back here next week
Have fun.
to talk about all these games and talk about the excellent seasons. All right, that is going to wrap it up from us. We want to thank everyone that's been involved, right? Coach Speck, Coach Bethiani. Thank you to Elena Moore from Friday Football Live. Thank you to my man, Drew Westerheide, for producing tonight. Again, Greg and I will be right back here next week. You can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We thank you so much for joining us on the High School Football Tonight Show, powered by TriStateFootball.com on Cincinnati's ESPN 1530 and Fox Sports 1360.
Buddy, buddy, buddy.
SAI Cincinnati.